On July 21st, 2025, the world of marine entertainment witnessed yet another unspeakable tragedy. One that left families screaming in horror, staff powerless, and a young trainer fighting against the very creature she once called her partner. Her name was Jessica Monroe, a bright, passionate orca trainer at a popular marine park. And the orca was Nyxa, a massive, silent killer who had spent years performing for cheering crowds, hiding a darkness no one could truly see coming. What unfolded that day wasn't just a tragedy inside a tank. It was a chilling reminder of the dangers humanity creates when we cage the ocean's most powerful predators for our own amusement. Jessica Monroe was only 29 years old, young, vibrant, and filled with a passion that lit up every corner of the marine park. Her radiant smile could calm the most restless crowd. Her fearless energy inspired her fellow trainers, and her deep love for orcas was unmatched. She wasn't just another trainer. To visitors, she was the face of the park, the one who transformed cold concrete tanks into magical stages of wonder. Every splash, every dive, every synchronized leap with the orcas carried her heart and soul. But no one captured her attention more than one particular orca. Nyxa, towering at nearly 21 feet, weighing over 10,000 pounds, Nyxa was unlike the others. She didn't chatter or whistle like her tank mates. She didn't perform with the same enthusiasm. Instead, she carried an eerie, commanding silence. Trainers described her as watchful, calculating, reserved. Her gaze was piercing, almost human in its depth. Many feared her, kept their distance, followed protocol with extreme caution. But Jessica saw something else. Where others saw danger, Jessica believed there was trust to be built, a bond waiting to be unlocked. She spent hours with Nyxa, rehearsing, feeding, touching, whispering softly at the edge of the pool as though the orca could understand every word. And in many ways, Nyxa did. The bond between them became legendary inside the park. Jessica could signal with just a glance, and Nyxa would move. She could dive, spin, even rise from the water in perfect sync with her trainer. It was breathtaking to witness, beauty and danger woven into a fragile dance. But as much as Jessica trusted Nyxa, deep down, every trainer knew the truth. Trust in captivity is a fragile illusion. These animals are not pets, not performers. They are apex predators, born of the wild, with instincts that no whistle, no hand signal, no years of practice could ever erase. And so, on July 21st, 2025, Jessica walked into that tank arena with her usual joy, her heart full of confidence in Nyxa. She didn't know that this would be the last time her smile lit up that stage. Before we go deeper into Jessica's final moments, I want to pause for just a second. If her story already moves you, if it makes you think, makes you feel, makes you question, then don't let it end here. Subscribe so you never miss stories that expose the hidden truths behind the smiles of marine parks. Like this video, to honor Jessica Monroe's life, and to send a message that her tragedy matters. Share it, so more people understand that behind every performance, there's a dangerous reality humanity cannot afford to ignore. Her story deserves to echo far beyond this video. Together, we can make sure it does. The stands were full that afternoon. Families with children, tourists with cameras, and fans eager to see Nyxa and Jessica perform their synchronized routine. The show began flawlessly. Jessica dived gracefully into the water, Nyxa circling her like a shadow. The audience gasped as Jessica climbed onto Nyxa's back, raising her arms in triumph while the crowd roared. But trainers knew. Nyxa's behavior had been different in recent weeks. Less responsive to signals, more restless in her tank. At times, she ignored commands altogether. Still, the show went on, and as Jessica prepared for the grand finale, standing on Nyxa's rostrum, ready to be launched high into the air, something in the Orca snapped. In an instant, Nyxa refused the command. Instead of pushing Jessica upward, the Orca dove beneath her, circled back, and with terrifying speed, grabbed Jessica by the waist. The crowd thought it was all part of the act at first. Children clapped, parents cheered, and cameras flashed as Nyxa suddenly lunged toward Jessica. But within seconds, the illusion shattered. Jessica's smile was gone. Her body twisted violently as she was yanked beneath the surface. Her arms thrashed desperately, her muffled screams lost in the roar of water. And then, the first cloud of red appeared. A hush fell over the crowd, followed by piercing screams. Parents shielded their children's eyes, some too late. Tourists dropped their phones, frozen in disbelief. The cheerful spectacle had turned into a nightmare before their very eyes. Trainers on the sidelines blew emergency whistles, banged the sides of the pool, and waved frantic signals. But Nyxa ignored them. The Orca wasn't responding to years of training, to commands, to whistles, or to food. She was responding to instinct. She had chosen her target. And Jessica Monroe was completely at her mercy. Nyxa dragged her to the bottom of the pool, her enormous tail thrashing like a storm. Jessica's body spun helplessly, her hands clawing toward the surface. Seconds felt like hours. The crowd leaned forward, desperate for her to resurface. And then, suddenly, she did. Jessica burst through the water, gasping for air, her eyes wide with a terror that words cannot capture. She reached out, not toward her fellow trainers, but toward the crowd itself. Thousands watched as her trembling hand stretched toward them, a silent plea for rescue. But before she could utter a single word, Nyxa surged upward from below, seized her waist, and pulled her under again with terrifying force. The water erupted in a violent swirl of foam and blood. Some children screamed out Jessica's name. Others cried uncontrollably, begging their parents to leave. But no one could look away. Jessica fought with everything she had, twisting, kicking, clawing at Nyxa's smooth, unyielding skin. But how could 120 pounds of human flesh resist 10,000 pounds of raw muscle, teeth, and instinct? Every second that passed made survival less likely. The audience, the trainers, the entire stadium knew this wasn't a show anymore. This was a death struggle, and it was only just beginning. If this moment chills you to the core, don't let it fade into just another story lost in the noise. Jessica's fight for life is not entertainment. It is a warning. Subscribe, so you'll never miss stories that uncover the hidden dangers behind the smiling faces of marine parks. Like this video, to honor Jessica Monroe and to send a clear message that her tragedy should never be forgotten. Share it, so more people around the world can open their eyes to the truth. Captivity is not safety. It is a silent, ticking clock. Her story must echo beyond this pool, and you can help make sure it does. Back to July 21st, 2025. The day that was supposed to be filled with smiles, laughter, and applause, instead descended into utter chaos. The stadium erupted in panic. Children cried out Jessica's name, some sobbing uncontrollably, while parents screamed and grabbed their little ones, rushing for the exits. Others froze in disbelief, rooted to their seats, unable to look away as the nightmare unfolded in the water below. Emergency whistles pierced the air. Alarms blared across the park. Trainers waved frantically, clapping, shouting, anything to break Nyxa's grip. But nothing worked. Nyxa was in control, and she wasn't letting go. For more than 10 agonizing minutes, she toyed with Jessica, dragging her limp body through the water as if she were nothing more than a rag doll. Sometimes forcing her to the surface, Jessica's head breaking through just long enough for a final gasp of air, before Nyxa plunged her back under. Every rise, every fall, every red ripple spreading across the pool only deepened the horror. This wasn't a quick, violent strike. It was slow, prolonged, almost deliberate, as if Nyxa wanted everyone to watch, wanted every pair of eyes in that arena to witness the price of captivity. By the time park staff finally managed to lure Nyxa into a holding gate, the damage had already been done. The water stilled, the crowd fell silent, and there, floating motionless in the center of the pool, was Jessica Monroe's lifeless body. Her final moments burned forever into the memory of every horrified soul who witnessed them. Emergency teams rushed in, but Jessica was gone. The medical report would later confirm massive trauma, broken bones, and drowning as the final cause of death. Her death sparked outrage worldwide. News outlets replayed the horrific footage. Critics demanded answers. Why are these predators kept in tanks? Why do we still believe we can control them? Nyxa wasn't a monster. She was an orca, an apex predator built by nature, trapped in a prison of concrete walls. And when wild instincts took over, the result was inevitable. Jessica's tragedy wasn't just an accident. It was the cost of captivity. Let Jessica Monroe's story stand as a warning to all of us, to humanity, and especially to those who still believe captivity is control. The cost of caging the ocean's most powerful predators is measured not only in broken bodies, but in broken lives. And it is always too high. We must remember, orcas are not performers. They are predators. And no tank, no whistle, no trick can ever take away their wild instincts. Subscribe to continue uncovering the hidden truths about captivity and the tragedies the world needs to see. Like this video to honor Jessica Monroe's memory and to show that her death carries meaning, not silence. Share it so that more people around the world understand the danger, the pain, and the reality behind every smiling performance. Because behind every choreographed leap, every splash of water, and every forced smile, there is always a silent truth waiting to break free.